All right, we are live. Jacob Harkins with VintageView, and I'm with Maria from Humanity Wine Co. She is the CEO of this great wine club that is call it an offshoot, a fundraising arm, a wine drinking arm of a great nonprofit. So we're going to talk a lot about what she's doing. We're entering into a partnership with these wonderful folks who love wine as much as we do, and so we're thrilled to have you on. You know, our first kind of public engagement, public whatever. So welcome from tropical, was it Lethbridge, Alberta? Did I get that right?
Lethbridge.
Lethbridge.
In my turtleneck.
Yeah, and you can see the snow falling in the background. It's all good. How are you doing today?
Oh, wonderful. Thanks so much, Jacob. Thank you for having me on today. I'm excited, just as excited as you are, to announce that we are partnering and going to have a lot of fun together and change a lot of lives while we drink wine.
Absolutely. And so as luck would have it in timing, I got a care package from you today. And by care package, it's one of those great ones where you have to sign because you have to be an adult, and it comes with lots of adult juice. And I thought it was an interesting way to give a little bit of insight into what you guys do. I'm just going to read this from the letter that you sent to me. This 4-bottle case of wine you received is estimated to provide a month of post-trauma therapy, maybe a week in our household, but fair. But more importantly, a month of mentorship for one abandoned youth. Cheers to a gift that gives back. So to me, there's a lot of wine clubs out there that would be Somm curated with great wines, great value. But that last line is what I believe sets you apart. And that's really what got us interested. So tell me a little bit about the wine, the month of inebriation, basically, and the month of helping youth. And I'd love everyone to understand where your heart is at with this passion.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thanks, Jacob. You're right. There's so many clubs out there that are Somm curated. Ours is as well. We have a team of sommeliers, 4 of them to be exact, that curate the boxes for us. But at the end of the day, there's so much great wine out there. We can't say we're the best Somm curated box. No, we have really phenomenal wines. We do pride ourselves on the family-owned wineries, and that kind of plays into what we do on the charity side as well. But yeah, at the end of the day, what sets us apart is we created this, our why. We created this because our why is so embedded and ingrained in who I am and who our team is. We created this not because we just love wine and we thought this was a great business opportunity, but it was birthed because we needed to solve the problem of getting as many, we call them abandoned youth in Wine Co. Humanity Wine Co., but they're actually aged out orphans. So once they turn 18 years old, they have nowhere to go. There's literally no programs for them in Argentina, and that's where we start our work, is in Argentina. And so we needed as much funding as possible. And as an immigrant and hard worker, I love business. And I said, we can keep asking people to donate, or we can create an incredible product that's irresistible and gives back to charity. And so we needed something scalable, something that I was passionate about, because you know me, you know that I cannot work with something that I'm not passionate about. So I worked closely with the Zucardi family in Argentina. They're one of our nonprofit partners, the Familia Zucardi, which won Winery of the World 2 years in a row, this year and last year. And we worked together to develop this concept, and 4 years later, we were birthed. And so it took a lot of hard work and dedication, but I knew that this was the next step for our charity. It's the only way that we could really scale because of how much money was necessary.
And when someone becomes a member or buys a shipment, how much of that purchase price is going toward your charities?
The purchase price. So that's a good question. It depends on what you buy. So it's not, there's no like one answer fits all, but it is 50% of our net profit. So
50% of net profit. Okay, cool. That's what I.
So like your case, so for instance, you saw that you receive a month of post-trauma therapy, or what was it? It was a month of post-trauma therapy, and
one abandoned youth it helps mentorship of one abandoned
youth. That's right, because each child gets one mentor. There's no big groups because there's such high trauma children.
Yep.
And so that box is very different than the 12 case, right? The 12 case, you could literally be purchasing a transition home, paying the rent for the transition home for a year. That's how.
And then with each box, I'm assuming a letter or something accompanies this, where they know kind of a scale of what they're supporting through drinking.
To an extent, yes, because it gets to the place where we can only do that so much because it's changing. So if we are able to pay for one mentor for an entire year in the first 50 people, well, then that letter needs to be scratched. And now we need to create a new one, right? So we try and tell a story. I don't know, did you receive the story?
I did, but I literally was opening this up about 10 minutes before I ran up here, and I saw the letter, and I grabbed that piece and saw the other collateral, but didn't have a chance to digest it yet.
Yeah. And so we do tell the story. So each quarter, you'll receive a different story from another child that we call them child, but they're 18 to 25 youth that we work with.
So this is interesting because I don't think I've actually even told you this about myself. A couple of years ago, I was a key member or a big brother, big brothers, big sisters, which is one-to-one mentorship. About 4 or 5 years earlier, I served on the associate board of directors, so I spent 3 or 4 years raising funds for them. And to me, it's a very similar thing. The difference being where you're picking up kind of where that program almost left off if you were to, have it, but seeing these kids 13, 14, 15 in need of a mentor to help them understand things, to help them kind of navigate the world and the challenges that they overcome. And then, of course, and what you're talking about has a whole other set of how do you become an adult when you might not have had all of those advantages that a lot of us might have been lucky enough to call to our. So I love the one-to-one mentorship.
It's
hold
essential.
on one second.
It's all right. Is that your
I did. You have to go outside though, buddy.
You can't put him up there.
Okay, I won't next time.
Yep.
Yes. I was trying to hide from everybody, but I put my son's Oso upstairs, and he was not happy about that. So I will not do that again. I'm sorry, Mateo.
I love his name.
Yeah. Well, my wife is from Argentina, and Mateo is a very unique name in Denver, Colorado. It is not very unique if you're in Buenos Aires, right? Like it's there's 5 Mateos in every class.
That's right. Oh, that's good. That's good. But so, no, Jake, you did tell me about your work with, I remember when we first spoke, that was kind of something that stuck out. It's like, okay, he knows what it is. And responsibility that goes behind being a mentor. We need them as adults, let alone imagine someone who's 18, who's gone through sex trafficking, drug trafficking, severe abuse, molestation. And then at 18 years old, they're told, go figure it out.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Need them as normal, healthy human beings, let alone a child of that age.
So this club basically, we're looking at something, you join it. And to me, a lot of people are going to join, and I have my dog coming from the other side. So this is pandemic living, right? You just can't hide from anywhere. So, I would imagine that a lot of people who might not even be as passionate about wine might want to join just because they love the mission and what you're trying to accomplish. And then there's the other people like you and I who like to accomplish a goal and drink the wine, and that's a big part. So I was in this package that you said, I was really intrigued, but you said 4 wines. 2 of them were Spanish, bottle of bubbles, makes me really happy. This was really a cool thing. So I can tell you're working with some cool soms that know stuff, because if you even when you go to Buenos Aires, I remember walking into a wine shop there, and they had all the bins of wine, and each bin had a label for what grape it was. And it was literally Malbec, Malbec, right? So even the retail places in Buenos Aires are like, that's all we make. Not true. There is so much great wine. And this one is actually a grape I've never even heard of, Saint Jeanette. So if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So just to show that there's a lot of depth in types of wines. Yeah, they make fabulous Malbec. Absolutely. Yeah. Send me a bottle of that, which I'm going to enjoy.
That one's
but you get so many cool wines from there, and most Americans don't know anything about Mendoza and Argentina other than Malbec. So to me, that was a win right there. I haven't tasted the wines yet, but I'm sure they're fabulous. Yeah. But there's some geekery that was included just by shipping that bottle. I can tell.
Good. So that's the one thing we had to decide on. Did we want to create a box that was only Argentine? Because at the end of the day, that is where our program is.
Yeah.
However, and the idea was we created our own wine. Humanity Wine Co. has our own wine. Nobody will taste it for a few years.
Yeah.
But we decided that what were we going to do? Go with Argentinian wines, because there's so many. Pinot Noir, Saint Jeanette, Cabernet Franc, blends, just beautiful, beautiful wines. Or do we open it up? Because when the pandemic hit, all of the importers I know, all of the family-owned wineries in France, Italy, Portugal, Spain, South Africa, all these wineries we know, they're all friends. I know them.
Mm-hmm.
To think that the restaurants were closed, there's virtually no purchasing happening. I had to talk with some importers and say, guys, what's going on? How are you? You know, I'm here for you. How can I help? And they're like, Maria, we have no sales. Everything's shut. So instantly I spoke with my husband and we said, what if we started this club and said it's an international wine club? Because at the end of the day, we're not just focused on Argentina. Yes, those are the first group of youth. We have 700,000 orphans that we're going to have to service. But one day the idea is to take this and go to Chile and go to Italy and work with the refugees, and in France and do the same. There's orphans all over the world. So why are we not opening it up to wineries all over the world? Family-owned wineries need help right now. So we said, let's do it. I called some importers. They said, we're in. I ordered our first case and we decided to make that the Latin case. So Argentina, Spain, and Portugal. The second one's going to have wines from all over the world, from California, Italy, France. No, that might be the third one. But we have a bunch of different, each case is different wines from all over the world. And we decided, let's keep it fun, because you might just buy this because the wine is so rare and exclusive. Because like, for instance, that bottle, the Saint Jeanette, it's the only winery in the world who makes wine from that grape. It was an extinct grape from France. And we found the lowest, the least amount of soil on this one piece of property, that small little bit. It happened to be Saint Jeanette. And so they went with it. There's such rarity in our wines that we're like, we need to offer this just for the wine lover. Because again,
I'm glad you said that, because now I don't, because I studied to be a sommelier. I should know all these things. I'm a little out of practice, but I'm like, how have I never heard of this grape? At least that makes me feel a little better that it's one of those extinct grapes that made its way to South America. And then like 50 years later, someone finds a vine, they send it to probably UC Davis, and they're like, wait a minute, that's not what we thought it was.
And the story behind that's very cool. We have the full story on our site, but it's a really, really great wine and winery. That's one of my personal favorites. But yeah, at the end of the day, we wanted it to stand alone. We want wine lovers to come here and say they have exceptional wine, and they like, that's the cherry on the ice. You know, the cherry on the icing. Yeah, and we give 50% back. You know, I've always said we got to stand alone as a great wine company, and then have that aspect.
Yeah, and that's a big give. I mean, I saw on your website kind of how you see that a lot with some of the wine clubs, how when they cut out some of the tiers of distribution, how they can provide value. And so a lot of people are keeping that as profit or maybe a little bit of savings. You guys are able to take that and give it right back to those right now the Argentinian communities in need, and hopefully sooner than later, throughout the world, communities in need to the youth. So that is fantastic. So I'm all in on this, right? We need to get you some wine racks for your apartment. I've been told that. So I know that our respective social media pros on our teams are working together with some great giveaways coming up. So we're looking forward to kind of raising awareness to begin with, and then seeing where this thing goes and drinking some nice wine and unique wines along the way. Please definitely throw a lot of Argentinian wines in there, because when I was down there, and the only trip I've made, we stayed in a flat in Recoleta, if I'm pronouncing that right, like a really, really nice neighborhood in Buenos Aires, and we were next to like the nice wine merchant. And I went there every single day and just bought bottles of wine for the night that would never get to the States, typically. So I would love to see more of those in there, as well as everything from Spain and Italy and California.
All the goods. We have all sorts of family-owned wines. That's the one thing we are exclusive to family-owned, because at the end of the day, they're what we do. We are a family. We come together at the table, and that's really what I want to highlight. They have this keen sense of place that I feel the bigger wineries just don't have that. And for me as an avid traveler, you need that. Even if it's weird, even if I don't like the wine, it still gives me a sense of place. Yeah, so absolutely. That's really exciting. But Jacob, we need to get you to Argentina as soon as possible and get you to Mendoza, not Buenos Aires.
I know. Well, I love Buenos Aires is one of the great cities in the Americas. I love it. And we have on our minds the next trip that'll go down there. It'll be probably a week in Buenos Aires. Then we'd head over to Mendoza. Maybe even pop into Chile if I can get enough time from work, or I guess we'll be working remotely in the new world, at least some degree. So maybe I could do a little hybrid vacation work from some cool outpost. only a 3-hour difference from
Winery,
Denver,
it's
Colorado.
research for wine racks.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. We just need we have our wine racks are global, but mostly North America and Europe. We don't have a huge presence down there yet, so maybe we change that along the way.
That's right. That's right. I'm okay with that. I'll get you down there. I'm serious. We need to do that because at the end of the day, Mendoza is a very special, unique place. I live there part-time. Our children are there. Again, I keep calling them children. They do have babies, so technically they're our children. But yeah, we need to get you there to visit. And same thing with anyone at Vintage View. At the end of the day, right? Like
me first.
You first, but I have people who are part of our wine movement. They're called wine therapists. So Jacob, you're actually officially a wine therapist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we coined that term. They have come to Argentina to see the program. It becomes so much more than going on a wine trip, and that's really the beauties are. It's not a wine company. We're a movement.
Yeah.
You're not just drinking wine because, you like wine. You're drinking it for something so much greater. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So Humanity Wine Co. Some curated wines, check.
Yes.
Supporting small family vineyards, check. Small business, right? I know you can't see my arm going off the screen. And then most importantly, supporting kind of a left out youth, orphans who are trying to transition to adulthood, who need mentorship, support, etc. Check. So I think this wine club checks all the boxes. For those watching this now or later, we'll pop in the link to make sure you can get over to understand how to sign up and get these great wines. I will be sure when I start opening these bottles of wine in the next coming days, weeks, months, etc., to give notes and let you guys know how much I'm enjoying them.
That's great. Try some oysters if you can get a hold of some with your San Jeanette.
I will. That I can do. I can do that. I know a guy.
Excellent. I'm so glad to be here. And if anyone has any questions, if you hear from them, Jacob, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to help. And I'm very hands-on. I'm not some high-level CEO who doesn't talk to their people. So I'm here for sure.
Well, we look forward to it. We look to turning a great kind of positive page into 2021.
Yes.
And enjoy your tropical Canadian digs because it looks really warm outside there.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You too. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, everyone.
Same to you. Thank you so much.